All right. Shalom, 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 saints of the Most High Yah. It's your pastor, Elder Brother Rufus here, coming to you from the servants of Yah. Y'all know how we do. Let me know if y'all can hear me in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Let me get tens if we can hear me. Let's see if we got the audio working good today. Hallelujah. Glory to the King. I know there's a little bit of a delay. So let's see what we got going on. Can I get a thumbs up? Can I get something on the audio? All right, I can hear you. 10, 8. All right, got an 8. Don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. Got an 8. Yeah, definitely don't want to do that. Yeah, don't want to turn it too loud. You get the little echoey thing. I still haven't been able to figure that out yet. So, all right. Let me get some shout outs. Appreciate y'all joining me today. Who we got in here? Brother Nathaniel. Happy feast day to you, my brother. Bless you. We start excuse me, we start Tabernacles tomorrow evening. Glory to the King. Hallelujah. Brother Z Manning. Glory to the King. Bless you, brother. Shalom, shalom. Tim Swapshire. Bless you, brother. Shalom, shalom. Brother Weaver in the house. Blessings, blessings. Brother in the body of Yeshua. Appreciate you coming in, my brother. John Hugh, glad you can hear me. Hallelujah. Bless you, brother. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Let's see. Brother Steve Sheridan in the house. Shalom, my brother. Shalom. Sudden Mindset. Bless you. Shalom, shalom. The War Sheep Podcast is in the house. Bless you, brother Barak. Good to see you in there, my brother. Shalom. Let's see. Lisa D. Good to see you, my sister. Shalom, shalom. Ladybug. Glad to have you in here. The Masked Man. Shalom, shalom. Blessings, Brother James. All right. So, all right. This gonna work. Anybody that doesn't really want to be here, why come? Why come? I have no idea. Everybody thinks that their opinion is just needed in every single thing. It may have zero effect on you, but others may need it. Man, I don't get people today. It kills me, man. Ladybug, bless you. Appreciate you coming. Tony Atkins, appreciate you coming. Brother Mitch, bless you, brother. Good to see you, Elder. Elder Chris. The Honorable Elder Chris is in the house. Bless you, my brother. Shalom. Brother Reggie, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm getting a bad echo. I don't really want the echo. I don't know why it's doing that. Because I don't have the other part on. Hallelujah. All right. That's enough with the shout outs. I'm going to get right to this. I hope actually not to be before you long. Bless you, Elder Brent. Honorable Elder Brent's in the house. Bless you, my brother. Good to see you. Hallelujah. Brother Reggie, did I miss you? Bless you. Appreciate you coming. All right. Let's get started. First, I want to get started by giving a couple shout outs. I want to give a shout out to Brother Tim McKibben, brother that used to be a part of Straitway Georgia. And I also want to give a shout out to my son-in-law, Brother Brett Kiefer. I want to give a shout out to these two brothers. Volume is a bit low. Okay. I don't want to turn up too much because all right. Ken Dog, bless you, brother. What's going on? Hallelujah. Good to see you. All right. Want to give a shout out to these men because yesterday I had a little situation And I ended up getting, and I won't go through the situation. I think that's part irrelevant. I ended up getting on the phone with both of these men. And they actually blessed me because they were able, by being real men, talking upfront and honest with me, putting their feelings on the table, putting their emotions on the table, and they were able to share their thoughts with me like men do. And I was able to ponder. They say the volume is low. If I go too high, see, you get an echo, y'all. If I go too, hold on, and then go here. All right, maybe that'll help bring that volume in on my microphone. I turned it up. So hopefully that's a little bit better. Hopefully that's better. I'll turn towards the microphone, and that may help as well, or pull it closer. Maybe that'll help. Hallelujah. Because I got a little bit of an echo, so I don't want to go too loud. I got other stuff going on here, so I don't want to be too loud on this broadcast. All right. But those two men, Brother Tim and Brother Brett, they really helped me a lot yesterday. And they actually got me to do something that I'm a little ashamed to admit, but I guess I could say better late than never, right? Because I believe going through this whole entire process, shalom, Sister Elizabeth, bless you. I believe going through this whole entire process that we've been through over the last 18 months, almost 2 years now, I never really took the time to try and view this whole situation from the viewpoint of the brothers that lived on the community in Straitway, Georgia. Never. I guess with, how fast everything moved and all the other things I had on my heart and on my mind, trying to make sure my family was taken care of, still being concerned about Israel, things of that magnitude, not appreciating the stance that a lot of the brothers took when I felt like I was trying to be the best brother I could by warning them of what was going to come. I never slowed down and took the time to just view this whole entire thing from their lens. Never did. But after speaking with my son-in-law, Brett, and then after speaking with Brother Tim, I ended up going to work last night, and it just was on my mind the whole entire time. I pondered it, I meditated on stuff. I thought about things that were said by my son-in-law, giving me perspective because he had the opportunity to actually speak with all the saints, all the brethren that lived there on the land. Now, unfortunately for me, I've never had that opportunity. I did not get a chance to speak with all the brothers. I know they went before Dow. He said the things he said to them, and that was it. He commanded them not to speak to me, and all of them obeyed. So I didn't get the privilege of being able to have conversations with him, but he did. And he gave me a very, very different perspective to look at it from. And then after speaking with Brother Tim, he had some accusations and some things, and, I accused him of being in his feelings and his emotions, which he was, but it doesn't mean that some of the things he was saying wasn't true, right? Doesn't mean that. And one thing I talk about all the time is being transparent, being open, being honest. I've tried to make myself available. I put myself in the fire because I know that the saints deserve answers. Me and my family are not the only people hurting from this. Honestly, I believe all of Israel's hurting because the book tells us that if one part of the body hurts, the entire body hurts. So I felt that pain of all of Israel this whole entire time. But the pain of the brothers that actually lived on that community, I don't know if I felt their pain because I never put myself in their shoes. And for that, I want to apologize to those brothers, because if you're going to be honest and you're going to be fair, you have to do that. Now, I'm not sure if they did that for me or not, put themselves in my shoes. I don't think at this point it's relevant because I'm the one doing the live broadcast to address Straightway Georgia. I don't think I actually addressed Straightway Georgia the whole entire time this has been going on. I think I responded to videos and things like that, but I don't think I've actually addressed Straightway Georgia the entire time. And today, what I want to do is actually apologize to them saints for not being sensitive enough to think about what they were going to have to go through. Now, honestly, I thought I had, because that's why I went to them and I warned those brothers. You know what I mean? But actually putting myself in their shoes, I didn't do it. Trying to view it from their viewpoint, I hadn't done it. But I did last night. And one of the things that Brother Tim made a statement to me about was he said, you know, Pastor, you took, well, he didn't call me Pastor, but he said, you took everything. You took everything. Now, of course, the first thing in me is saying, no, I didn't, because there's plenty of stuff that's still there. You know, there's still land, there's still homes, there's still buildings, there's still gardens, there's still, you know, a lot of the stuff that we invested in and built is still there. And the saints are still partaking in that, the ones that decided to stay. But I had to look even closer. And, you know, one of the things he was accusing me of is taking all the best cars, right? And I thought about it. I'm like, okay, I do know some of the better cars were for me and my family because of the responsibilities that I have. From his viewpoint, he could look at it as, okay, you're no different than Dow because he drives the best cars. From my viewpoint, of course, I'm looking at it saying, I'm not buying brand new cars. I'm not spending, you know, 50, 60, 70, 80, $100,000 on cars. I'm not buying, you know, this and that. But he said for the level that we were at, that's what we were experiencing. And I said, okay, so it doesn't matter that the cars I was driving were 10, 12 years old, 15 years old. It didn't matter. They were the nicer ones. And he felt slighted for that. He felt slighted that he felt like I took all the best cars with me. Now, the number keeps climbing. At first it was 3 and then went to 4. And earlier today I was told that I took 5 vehicles. The facts, the actual facts is I took 3 vehicles, y'all. And this is the part about being transparent. I took 3 vehicles. I took a 2015 Nissan NV van that at the time was just needed. I got rid of our 2015 Yukon XL because 8 seats was not enough for my family at the time. So I traded it in and got the NV van, which was more expensive. So we put a little money down on it. But, and I don't know if Tim knew this or not at the time, but that vehicle was financed. It was not paid for cash. And the finance was in my name, right? So, of course, any vehicle that's financed in my name, I got to take. I don't know how you would leave it. You know what I mean? If I got the debt, I got to take it. I had a 2013 Audi that was pretty much my main vehicle that I would travel when I went to see the Saints, things like that. It was financed as well. So I had 2 vehicles that was financed in my name, and I took those. And I didn't want to have no vehicles that didn't, you know, I wanted something that was paid for. So I had a 2006 Lincoln Mark LT, older truck, but nice truck. You know, everything I had, I did a good job of taking care of the vehicles that we had. Me and my family, in my personal opinion, did a very good job of making sure the vehicles we drove stayed nice. Hallelujah. But those are the 3 vehicles that I took, being transparent. Now, I'll be accused by some of taking others, and I didn't. One vehicle that is in question by some. And again, don't understand, this is addressing Georgia, and this is being transparent, because there has been a lot of things that have been said to the Georgia Saints without me being present, and I don't get a chance to face my accusers. So because of the cowardly acts of the accusers, this is the only way you can do it. This is the only way that's available, because sitting down, having a civil conversation, it's not an option with the entity called Straightway. Hallelujah. But one of the vehicles that's in question was a 2020 Dodge Ram Crew Cab 1-ton diesel truck. It was a dually, and it was a vehicle given to me, right? It was a vehicle given to me. It was never given to the community. It was never given to, like, for the use of the community. It was never given like, hey, this is for like the deck crew or any of the other crews we got. He said, I thought you weren't supposed to get into that. Now you just become the borrower to the lender. That's what it says. It's not a sin to have debt, but you become a slave to the borrower, whoever you borrowed it from. Why? Because you owe them and you got to pay them back on their terms. Hallelujah. And honestly, for the most part, we don't do that. I can say this. Part of the reason why I did have a little debt is because since we don't have mortgages to keep your credit up to date and revolving, you pretty much can have a revolving card debt and you can have credit cards. That's pretty much not they allow. That's available. So I always did that. I always had a little small loan on certain things, but as the needs grew, the debt grew on some of those things. All right, but back to this Dodge Ram. This 2020 Dodge Ram was given to me. All right, it was given to me. It was never intended to be used like for any of the businesses or anything like that. All right. So at the time of all this going down, I'm being thrusted out, right? And I have nothing. So I got all of my family, I got my children, I got my wives, I got my whole family, and we told you got 30 days to get out, right? Of course, I'm not going to take 30 days. You don't want me here, I'm gone. So we took 14. But I still have to have a place for my family to go. A lot of people didn't know at that same time. Myself and Sister Bonnie were going through her mother being hospitalized and eventually a month or so later passing away. So I was back and forth from Georgia to Texas dealing with that situation, having to secure her a place to stay because she was not able to stay in her home by herself. Having to get her from the hospital into, what do you call it? It wasn't hospice. It wasn't, I can't remember. It was some type of care that I had to put her in at first, which was only going to be temporary. And then we had to move her into things because of insurances and all this stuff. And it was just a mess, y'all. I'm going to be honest. It was a mess because she didn't make enough money. She made too much money to qualify for Medicare and didn't make enough money to cover any of her bills. You know what I mean? So some of you that have been through it, you probably know the rat race me and Sister Bonnie was going through trying to figure all that out. Meanwhile, she had a home that needed repairs. She had a home that had some debt on it. We had to get her affairs in order. Hallelujah. Had to get her affairs in order. So with being thrusted out the way I was, I literally had nothing. Now, I had $7,000 that the community had at the time, but that wasn't mine, all right? So what I did was I took this vehicle that was given to me and I sold it. This was why I was still there at Straitway. I hadn't left yet. I sold it and I got $35,000 for it, right? And I used that money to secure my family somewhere to go temporarily and to travel back and forth. And y'all know how much funerals and stuff like that cost, to travel back and forth, taking care of everything, putting things in order. Not only did we ended up having to pay for that, the funeral, we ended up having to take care of, I can't remember what they call that first place. And y'all know the names of these places that they put old folk in, you know, because it's like 3 different levels. And I had to put her in one place where it's like independent, but you put them there and like your insurance don't pay for it. You had to pay cash for it, right? So I did. It's like $6,500. Then that was only like a month. And then we had to move her to another place while we was waiting on the Medicare, Medicaid, or whatever you call it, stuff to be approved. And honestly, we had to hire an attorney, y'all, because that's just the way every state different. Texas was different. We had to hire an attorney to represent us. Assisted living. Thank you, love. Assisted living, yeah. assisted living. I had to put it there first and then transfer, and then the other place I had to pay that up front. So that was almost $5,000. So the money was needed for that stuff, and I thank the Most High that He provided it. Now, there are some at Straightway Georgia that think I was wrong for that. Their opinion is that I should have sold that truck and gave the money to the community. And unfortunately, I just totally 100% disagree with that. When you have transportation, because I did leave 9 vehicles there, they were all paid off. I didn't leave any debts for Straightway Georgia. No debts. Now, the brothers' businesses had tax debts, right? But I'm talking about the community itself, like bills, all that. I didn't leave any of that. And the cars that I left, all of them had titles to them. You understand what I'm saying? So part of my goal was really don't take nothing that was intended for the community. Don't take it and leave them with no debt. Don't leave them with utility bills and gas bills and all this kind of stuff, taxes and all that. No, don't do it. And I was able to do that when it came to the $7,000, because some will say, well, what'd you do with $7,000? I got a call from Brother Vernon. Brother Vernon asked me about the $7,000. He asked how much money we got. I told him $7,000. He said, are you going to give that money to me? I said, I can. But if I give you the money, you will also have to take the debt. Meaning there are other bills left that have to be paid. And they come to a lot more than $7,000. We had blocks and some materials that hadn't been paid for. You know how you have accounts with stuff so you can order it and pay it 90 days later, that kind of thing. And there was other things that had to be taken care of. Separating the utilities because of the way we had it all set up. It was just a lot of stuff. I don't want to go into details of the stuff. It was a lot of stuff that needed to be taken care of. I didn't want to leave it on them. So I told him, you can either leave the 7 with me and I take care of all of that, or I give you the 7 and you take the bills. He chose to let me keep the 7 and take care of the bills. And that's what I did. That's what I did. So I used that money for that. Now, we ended up sitting down having a conversation. Myself, Brother Vernon, and Brother Tim. And that conversation led us to agree that we would sell the properties. There are 6 total properties that we're going to be talking about. All right. 3 of them, or 4. 1, 2, 3. 3. So it's 5 properties then. I apologize, y'all. It's 5 properties. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it's 6. It's 6 properties. Because I forgot we divided the house into multi-purpose building. That's 2 separate properties. All right. 3 of the properties are very small properties, and they were like vacant lots or they were just trees on it, right? All of those were either 1/3 of an acre or they were 1/2 of an acre, right? I think we had one lot that's 1/2 an acre that had trees on it. We had another lot that was 1/3 of an acre with trees, and we had another lot that was 1/3 of an acre and it was just empty. That is the lot that you might have heard us refer to as the Brothers Barracks. We were going to build that Brothers Barracks on that lot. We had started to work on that. That was the first property that sold. And that's not an expensive property. I believe we paid $6,000-7,000 for that property. The net from that property was like $6,300 is what we netted after everything, right? I used the $7,000 plus that to take care of all the bills that need to be taken care of. That's what I did. Okay. Then the next property that sold was the home, the house that we bought at 360 Cemetery. Brother Vernon's family got to live in that home. And anybody that's been there knows that the way we were setting everything up, it just didn't have a lot of yard space because we had the home and then we built a multi-purpose building right next to it. So the yard space that we had, we used it to build a multi-purpose building. It was already divided, so it was perfect to have 2 separate addresses, right? So we built the multi-purpose there. So that I could give the people that were going to buy it some kind of yard or possible yard. One of the wooded lots that we had, the one that's a third of an acre, was directly behind that house, right? On the other street, but directly behind it. So I had to package it together to sell the house. Because somebody coming would be like, it's nice, but there's no yard, and you got this big old building right next to it. No, we got to share the driveway. There's, so there was some negatives, for conventional people to buy it. So I combined the two, and we sold it, and we netted about $90,000 from that. All right. I split that up the way I told the brothers I would split it up. Now, some, like Tim, may disagree that we didn't say that, but I would ask him to produce the tape because he said he recorded it, and let's see. He said that I didn't include Elder Brent getting paid in the beginning, and I just 100% disagree with that. The whole time I wanted Elder Brent to get paid. So we sold that house, and I gave Elder Brent back his money that he had invested in it. And then myself, Tim, and Mike split the pot. It was split 4 ways, y'all. I got a fourth that was left, which is like $7,000. Mike got it. Tim got it. The portion that was supposed to go to Vernon, I didn't give to Vernon because he had started with the lies. He had started doing the slander like Dow. And I had told them in that meeting that that would be the only thing that would change any of our agreements, is if one of you started to do that. But I didn't keep the money, you guys. What I did with his portion is I started a fund, and I call it the Where's My Inheritance Fund. Right? And that's what I did with that portion of it. It was $6,000 something that was left. And I started using that money to help saints that were leaving, that was getting nothing from the communities. Some would say I don't have the right to do that. Some would disagree with that decision. It is what it is. It's transparency. I have documentation to prove all of that. And this is just me being transparent. Okay? The next building that sold was the building down the street that had the house that was being built for me on it, right? And that building sold for, I think, $125, right? And by the time realtor fees, all that kind of stuff, I think we cleared like $113. I had other things to take care of, so some of that money I ended up using, helping saints. We used some of it to just take care of us, our daily life. And I think I had about $90,000 left, right? One important fact about that house down the street, I have to tell you. That house down there, Elder Brent told not just myself, but the brethren there and a lot of the leaders that he felt led of the Spirit to finance that entire place. So understand that house that was being built for me, not one dime of community money went into that house, not one dime. So after the smoke cleared a little bit and I had a chance to think and get some counsel and talk, I didn't feel led to give them anything from that because the community didn't pay anything for it. And it was something that Elder Brent, who was in here, he can tell you if I'm telling the truth or not, felt led to do to pay for every bit of it, right? So people want to know how I got this place. The funds that I got from selling that unfinished house, because it wasn't finished. Remember, we had the blocks and the roof on it, but we had it was framed on the inside and the electrical was run. We didn't have any plumbing, no flooring in yet, no major flooring, nothing like that. So it was half done. I took that money plus, remember Elder Brent said he felt led to pay for that house. So he had money set aside to pay for the different projects we were doing for the house. All right. So once that house sold, he came to me and said, well, I still have X amount of money sitting here, right? That I'm going to give you. And honestly, I'm just going to tell you all the figures, all right? Because I still had, out of that 113, I think I had 90,000 left, right? He said, I got 50 still sitting here that was supposed to go to pay for that house. So he gave that to me, right? So that got me to 140. It costs 175 to do this, a little bit afterward, little monies to do this and that paperwork. But I ended up borrowing 40,000. So 90, 50, 90, 50, 40. That's how we get to pay 175. Now, what's been told to you guys is that this property I paid $300,000 for. That's a lie. You've been told that I embezzled the money from the saints to pay for this. That is a lie. None of the money that paid for this place came from the Georgia Saints. None of it. That's just being transparent. That's how this place got paid for those that want to know. Now, I have the debt of $40,000 I'm going to have to pay, and none of that is going to come from the last two properties we have, which is the multi-purpose building. Because part of the reason I'm on here today is because of what my son-in-law said to me and because of what Brother Tim said to me. He said, I took everything and they have nothing. And when I looked at it from his lenses, I'm like, here's a brother that's been around since 2012, 2011. He came to the community there, I think, in 2014, because he didn't move in immediately, but he moved in. We always treated Tim like he was a part of the community from day one, really. But he didn't officially become a part of the community until, like, I want to say 2014. So Tim becomes a part of the community. And I looked at that and said, man, you've given everything. You've worked. You started a business. You've just given all. I want to keep it real simple, y'all. You've given all, like we're supposed to, right? And you're looking now and you saying, okay, well, Pastor Rufus is set up. He got a place, right? That's almost paid for. He only owes $40,000 on. He's got vehicles to drive around. He's doing it. He's doing fine. What do we have? And honestly, y'all, I'm being real. I never viewed it from their lens. I just didn't. And I'm not making any excuses. It's just I didn't view it from their lens. But when I thought about that, I'm like, yeah, I can see why Brother Tim is upset. I can see why he's upset. So what I've decided to do, I've checked with my legal counsel, and I can quit claim deed the multi-purpose building, and there's a multi-purpose building, and then right next to it is a half-acre lot of trees, right? Those two I was going to sell together as well, because you need to tear that down and have some kind of yard and put in a new driveway, all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to quit claim deed those over to Brother Tim and Brother Mike. That's going to be theirs, and they can do whatever they want to do with it. I have people that want to buy it. The people that because when all this court stuff went down, I actually had it sold. But then I had it sold to a an investment company out of Atlanta. So when they saw that fraudulent lien that Dow put on the property, they were like, we got to get that cleared up, because we want to come in, move trees, put in a new driveway, convert it to a house and sell it. You understand what I'm saying? They want to do that. So I was forced at that point to deal with this fraudulent lien that Dow tried to place on the property. Mind you, he placed that lien on the property well before any of the properties were sold. Me and the brothers had agreed to sell them, but he was trying to block me from selling them. And I'm sure he'll have some kind of wicked excuse of why he did what he did. There's no excuse in fraudulently putting people's names on this document, lying and saying that I'm in a contract with him for $23.4 million. I don't know how you people that are associated with him justify that. Kabir, especially you, because we did our research and we can tell you produced the document, Kabir. But you'll hear from us soon, Kabir. You'll hear from us soon. But staying on point, I'm going to quit claim deed that as soon as possible, possibly even next week. I got to get with Tim. I got to get with Mike. But I'm going to quick claim deed those 2 properties over to both of those men. And this legal thing with Dow, we're going to get this thing cleared up real fast. Watch. We're finna get this thing over real quick. Watch. And then they'll be able to do whatever they want to do with that. They will be able to say that they did walk away with something. Because, see, to me, there's a difference when you're thrusted out or thrown out unjustly, or if you walk out, or if you leave on your own. There's a difference to me. Those 2 brothers decided to leave on their own. They made a decision to stay, then they made the decision they wanted to leave, right? Regardless, I understand their plight. I understand the labor that they put in. I understand the commitment that those 2 brothers and then the Brother Tim's family had. And I just think it's the right thing to do. I got the home that was intended for me. They're going to get the multi-purpose building. That house, it's already been sold. The funds have already been dispersed and spent. There's nothing we can do about that house. There's nothing. And the funds that was allocated to go to Elder Brent to pay him back, essentially, y'all, that money went to help saints. Because at that time, there was a ton of saints leaving and they were getting nothing from that ministry. So we use the majority of that money to help saints get vehicles, get get homes, get jobs, get medical treatment, get paperwork in order, give them money to travel. It was all kind of things that came up. But they were getting no help from Straitway. And y'all know the whole story. I don't really want to go down all that. All right. But I'm going to, and I'm saying it publicly, I'm going to quick claim that over to them. So regardless of what happened, that's going to belong to them. It's going to belong to them. Now, some will say, well, what about Brother Vernon? Don't he deserve something? Brother Tim said that to me. He says that without Vernon, we would not have been able to sell these buildings. And he was giving Vernon credit for the skills that he had, which I've actually always given him credit. He's a good builder. He's a very good builder. Most of what I learned from Brother Vernon. I've said that many times. This is my thinking, and you know what? I'm looking at the chat. If somebody think I'm off, if you think I'm being wrong for it, you can put it in there. I'm not sure it's going to change my mind, but Vernon decided to stay, and he still got to keep 1.5 acres with multiple houses, multiple trailers, the greenhouses on it, the chicken coop, the garage, that they just built, the gardens. He got to keep all of that. So it's not like he is still not benefiting from the community, because Vernon didn't start that portion of the community. He wasn't there in 2013 or 14 when we was doing that. He wasn't. Now, am I saying he didn't contribute to that? I'm not saying that, y'all. He did. I'm just saying he wasn't there to start it. Mike was there to start it. Tim came like a year later on the community. But Tim was always a part of the community, y'all. So they were there from the beginning. They were. Yeah, Mike decided to stay, and Tim both decided to stay, but they both left like fairly quick after that. Why they left, I don't know. I don't think we've ever talked about why they left. I have my speculation, but they're no longer there. Right? But Tim was using words like liar and hypocrite and deceiver, and it bothered me. Because I'm not doing any of this to deceive anyone. I'm not doing any of this to be no hypocrite and no liar. But from his lenses, he's like, you're no different than Dow to me. You get all the fancy cars. You get all the property. We left with nothing. I get it. I get it. I get it. So I told him that earlier today. I haven't had a chance to talk to Mike yet, but I'm going to quick claim those 2 properties to them. They can do whatever they want with it. If they want to give some of the proceeds to Vernon, go ahead. I think Vernon actually got his portion there at the 1.5. The things that he wanted was to be in control. He got that. And now he's running the community. He got everything he wanted. I think that's his portion. I don't think he needs anything else. Some would say, well, what about the other brothers? All the other brothers came at different times. They've been on different communities. They swapped around. I mean, Herb is old. What do you want to give Herb? You know what I'm saying? He's been around for a while, but they all came much, much later, y'all. Much, much later. So, like, the only one I would say that needs something would be Emiliano, but not in Georgia. I think Emiliano needs to go after Alabama because they invested all of their money with Dow to build a community in Alabama. Only reason he ended up in Georgia is because the rift between him and Brother Jonathan's family, his family and Brother Jonathan. Yep, that's the only reason he ended up in Georgia. Just being transparent, okay? There's other things that Tim said to me that I just 100% disagree with, but I understand he's hurt, like all of us are hurt. He's upset, like all of us are upset. None of us got into it for this thing to end the way that it ended. All right? And I get it. But I honestly do think that those two brothers don't actually deserve to walk away from this with nothing. I don't. So I'm going to quit claim those buildings over to them. I've already asked legal counsel about, being in the lawsuit, and they said, no, you can still do it. It's just going to be subject to that. So, but at the end of it, they can do what they want to do with it. They will have full control over it. Won't have anything to do with me. Won't have anything to do with me. And I have full confidence that this legal situation is definitely going to go the way it needs to go. It is. It's definitely going to do it. Because there's a lot of lies. There's a lot of fraud. There's just a lot of lies and a lot of fraud that are going to be, y'all going to get to see it because somebody's driven. Somebody has a desire for me to die. Somebody has a desire for my wives to be widows and my children to be orphans. And I think it's sad. I think it's sad. You get to this point all because you love somebody enough to tell them the truth. You love them enough to say, I see something, let's deal with it. So now all the slander and all the back and forth and all the childishness and the ignorance. And believe you me, y'all saw how I was before. I didn't like making videos then. You think I still like making videos? I don't. But the truth has to get out there because if not, these false lying narratives would just be pushed and pushed and pushed. They would be. This is me being 100 transparent. This is me showing you guys that there's no such thing of me embezzling $300,000. The statement I made on the Worship podcast is that we, meaning all of the people that have helped these saints leave Straitway or get assistance or whatever the case may be, we have spent close to or over $300,000. People want to know, like, where'd this come from? That's where it came from. And when I said that, the liar that he is ran with that and started saying, well, how did he get $300,000? I never said I had $300,000. But when you look at it alone, I mean, shoot, just this 175 eats up a lot of that because I'm one of the people that had to be displaced. I'm one of the people that had to get somewhere to go and be taken care of. Can you speak on this? I give a love and lay down my life for people, and I find the more I give, the more I serve, the less respect I get. It comes with the territory. Look what happened with the Messiah, Brother Weaver. Look what he got in return for the level of love and compassion and the service that he did. He got his own apostle to sell him out. His own apostle. His own chosen one. It comes with the territory is all I can say. You are going to be persecuted. You are going to be ridiculed. You're going to be dishonored and disrespected. But it's a test for you to show people how much you love and still walk in the love of Christ. Still walk in the love of Christ. Hallelujah. So this is me being transparent. A few people have gotten it to me. A lot of people have been talking about it behind the scenes about this $300,000. Now y'all know what's up. There's no such thing as $300,000. There's no such thing of Pastor Rufus embezzling any kind of monies or misappropriating any kind of monies from Straightway Georgia. Oh, here's another thing I want to do. Because one of the first things I did in this lawsuit is turned over all my bank accounts. So Vernon and Dow has them. Any of you saints at Straightway Georgia that believe the lies that Dow told you that I misappropriated funds, ask them to give you copies of my bank accounts. And this is what I'll say to you. Go through it. Anything you don't understand in there, call me, email me, and I will explain it to you. But I guarantee this, you 300,000, you won't even be able to put together 30,000. You won't be able to put together $3,000 of what you would consider to be misappropriated funds. What you'll say is, oh, you spent $3,200 on this 2007 Lexus. Why did you do that? Well, it was an older car with a lot of miles, but the work that can be done on it, Elder Brent can do. And he was always blessing us doing for free. So we could afford cars like this, and it would be a good backup car when vehicles broke down. I could save gas, save the miles on the Audi. That was my justification for buying it, but it was a good deal for $3,200. You may say that's a waste of money. Well, the saints that needed to borrow that car, the days theirs broke down or we had flat tires or issues, they didn't say that. And it's one of the vehicles that I left that was paid off. That was running fine, perfect when I left it. It's stuff like that, though. See, you have a right. They claim that this is a fight for you. He's suing me because of you guys, and I took y'all stuff. Well, I ain't got nothing else to take now. Because the property that's left, I just gave to the brothers that deserve it. So now what, Dow? You're going to fight them brothers in court to take their property? Because it belongs to them. I'm coming after you. Keep coming. But since he's doing this for you saints there in Georgia, you have the right to go to them and say, show me these receipts. He's already turned them in. I know you have them. Give me copies. I want to look at them myself. I want to look at the foundation account. I want to look at his personal account at Peach State Bank. Let me see. Because y'all have been accusing this man of stealing money. Dollars actually said I've been stealing for years, y'all. I've been stealing for years. Think about it, though. This type of stuff, he's got to prove in court since he said it now. But because of the level of love I still have for those saints there in Georgia, I'll answer any question that you have. But I know what your master's going to tell you. Don't go over there. I done told y'all, don't talk to him. Don't spend no. That's up to y'all. Pastor Rose, you and worship our team. Don't let some people get in the way of y'all. Peace and bless. Nobody's getting in the way of me and worship. See, I tell worship this. I tell other people this all the time. It's the same way like with Brother Vincent. Y'all remember the story about Brother Vincent. I was warned by everybody in Texas. I was warned by all the leadership. I was warned by all the saints. All of them told me about Brother Vincent. All of them did. But guess what, y'all? I didn't have that experience with Brother Vincent. So I could not go off the testimony solely of other people. I had to allow Brother Vincent to show me who he was. And he did. He got up there and lied for Dial and did the stuff he did too. That's fine. It's the same thing with Worship. I can't go off the testimonies of the Michigan Saints where he was at. I can't go off the testimony of the Texas Saints where he was at. Why? Because I got my own personal experiences with Worship. And guess what? I don't have issues with him like that. We haven't had things like that. Has Worship done things that I don't like? Absolutely he has. Guess what? I've done things Worship don't like. But for the greater good and for the unity's sake, and being men, we get past that stuff because it ain't no salvation thing, and it's really minuscule. And everything else from that has been gravy. It's been incredible. Guess what? When my mother-in-law was passing, Worship and Mama Shay was there for me. They was there for Sister Bonnie. They were there for my family. I've been able to get on the phone. Worship, I got people down there in Texas I can't get to. Can you take care of them? And he will go do it. But you want me to separate myself from him because you don't like his style, you don't like the way he talk, you don't like his long hair. I don't know what you don't like about the brother. She what? Who? She come back here. Ain't nobody gonna see her. Yeah. My wife want to eat on her lunch break. Oh, that's another misconception, that we living off the saints. I have a job, y'all. Mother Jennifer actually has a job. Actually, two. She has two remote jobs. Sister Chandra has a job. Sister Bonnie has income coming in. Mama T has income coming in. Sister Catherine has a job. We're not living off you saints. Now, I would like to know which one of you saints we're living off of. If any of you can say, no, we have to send you a stipend to help you every month, Pastor, go ahead and put it in here and embarrass me and tell everybody I'm lying. Because Elder Jim and Barack saw the need that I'm fighting a fight for the saints when it comes to this lawsuit. They decided they wanted to do a GoFundMe for me to help. Y'all seen the GoFundMe. It's been up a month and we got $6,000. And I'm going to be honest with you. One brother gave $4,000 of that $6,000. So let's not act like, you know what I'm saying, that, and that money's just sitting in the account. Because it's not enough to pay my attorney bill. My attorney bill, $40,000. That was another thing I told the brother. We all have assumed debt because of this separation. I got that house. Vernon's got the land there, 1.5 acres at the community, and he's running it. And those two brothers get the multi-purpose building. We all gonna just take care of our own debt. I'll take care of that $40,000 that I borrowed. That's just, to me, that's just fair. Now, some may look at it and say, no, you owe more. Some may look at it and say, you're doing too much. It don't really matter. At the end of the day, when I had a conversation with my son-in-law, Brett, and when I had a conversation yesterday with Brother Tim, I could not ignore the fact that I had been ignoring different perspectives that I should have been looking at it from. And I'm being honest, I'm very grateful to those men being men. I am. Because a lot of men would have cowered down, not said something, did something different, or walked away offended, all that. No, they real men. They real men. So I'm grateful, and that's why I shot at both of them out at the beginning. Because other men I can't talk to, because their master said don't call them, and they got all kind of questions. Why? Because of stuff that was put in their head, but they're not man enough to call me and actually get my side of it. And it's kind of relevant at this point. It's all gonna come out in the wash, and then what they say, it all come out in the wash. But it is what it is. You can tell her she can come in here, Auntie. She know? Because she ain't going to be on the camera. She just be back there. But that's me addressing the Georgia Saints and being very transparent about everything. And again, Vernon and Dow, y'all have my permission to give out my bank accounts statements to all the saints that want it, that inquire. So you claim you're doing this for them, right? They have a right to see it. So give it to them. Highlight the stuff you think is fraudulent, because you said a whole lot and you know darn well you got nothing. You got no proof. You got nothing, because ain't nothing there. The proof you're gonna have is that who paid for them properties, where the money actually came from. That's what you got proof of. Let them see that, and quit lying to everybody, telling everybody how to embezzle. You don't even know what the word embezzle means. I haven't embezzled any funds. I haven't mismanaged any funds. None of that. I took nothing from those saints when I left. Yes, I had properties in my name that I had to manage, that I've been managing. We got that squared away today. We got that handled today. But as for me taking anything, them brothers know. Like I said, I left 9 vehicles that were paid off. I didn't take any food stores that we stored for all those years. I didn't take any medical supplies that we stored for all those years. I didn't take any tools. I didn't take any trailers. I didn't take none of that stuff. Every single thing that was purchased with the community in mind stayed with the community. Even the vehicles that I took that Tim is so upset about, those were not vehicles bought for the community to drive. They were bought for my family to use for the things we were doing. And they had debt. What am I supposed to do? Now, let him say it. I'm supposed to sell those vehicles. If I make any profit, give it to them. A lot of his demands, in my personal opinion, were just unreasonable, brother. Sorry. That's not how stuff works. That's not how it works. But at the end of the day, the people that care, y'all deserve transparency. And you got it. And here's the thing. Once the liars come and say something different, actually make them prove it to you, please. Tell them to prove it. Don't just believe the words that they're saying. See, everything I said, they already have all this. They have all the sales of every property. They know the profits from them. They have all my bank. They have all of that, y'all. If they really wanted this truth to get to those saints down there in Georgia, they could give it to them and show them. And I'm telling them, if any of you got questions about anything, reach out, ask. But yeah, I talked to my legal counsel. They said I can do this immediately, so I'm going to jump on top of this. I'm going to pay for that fee, whatever it is to transfer, but I'm going to quit claim that building over to Tim and over to Mike. Because I do believe they didn't deserve to leave with nothing. That's a point that I agree with Tim 100%. I do. So I have the opportunity to do something about it. So I will. He probably still won't be happy, but it is what it is. It is what it is. He would have been fine. Listening to him, and this is what I'm going off of, listening to him from his text messages to me and the conversation we had, he would have been fine with me leaving with nothing too. Now, I know that's just emotion and that's just feelings talking. Because actually, I'm not fine with them having nothing. Those saints that decide to stay, at least they do have that community that we built up that's got multiple livable, there's 4 or 5 livable spaces on that, 5 or 6 actually. 1, 2 trailers, big trailers. You got that trailer we converted. You got that house Herb is in. You got the house that Tim lived in. And you got the main house. All that on one piece of land, y'all. All that's on one piece of land. Put all that on 1.5 acres, with gardens, with greenhouse, with chicken coop, all that. So they still got something, y'all. They still got something. Nobody was left with nothing. Nobody. And people talk about the other saints leaving and this and that. Vernon got a business, y'all. That community is left with a business. Imagine if I would have put that business in my name, which I had every right to do, y'all. I remember when that started. He couldn't understand why I wasn't putting it in my name. I bet he do now. I don't know if he's grateful for it, but I bet he do now. And I ain't asked for one dime from any of them businesses. Not one dime. Anything that was intended for the community, it stayed there. And they know that. And that's just true. All right. Like any live I do, y'all can ask questions. Help me out by putting a question mark or something in there so I know that it's an actual question. All right. All right. I see a message got deleted. You sound like, oh my God, trying to. All right. That person can just be blocked. I don't deal with trolls. This is real life stuff we're dealing with here. And if you want to just come give your trolling opinions, you'll get blocked. You will just get blocked. I ain't dealing with trolls. Tim not agreeing with you honestly speaks volumes. I mean, it is. It is what it is when it comes to Brother Tim. And again, you got to understand, this is what I tell people all the time. Where are the complaints from the saints about the lifestyle and the living that we had down there in Georgia? All of you that used to live on communities, all of you that came to the feast days and all that, somebody please tell me where you remember any saint from Georgia coming to you saying something about the living, anything down there before all of this happened. Name one time. And Dow got to all of those saints when they went to that meeting. He talked with all of them saints, and all of them got mesmerized by Dow, and they all started believing that they were oppressed, and I was taking advantage of them, and all these things that Dow was doing. He accused me of doing it to them. And I got a brother looking at me driving a 2012, 2013, 100,000 mile Audi, and saying I'm the same as Dow. When he buys a brand new $100,000 truck and put $20,000 rims on. If y'all think that's the same, I can't do nothing about that. Because what did they tell you about me? That I tirelessly work for these things and travel everywhere for them. How am I going to get there, y'all? Straightway wasn't paying for that. That money, that travel, that was coming from Straightway, Georgia. We paid for that. I'm a bigger guy. I like to be comfortable when I travel, so I go buy old 100,000 mile used luxury cars. If I'm guilty for that, I guess I'm guilty. But guess what? They drove the same stuff. Now, the Audi, did everybody get to drive that? No, because that was my car to drive around. I wasn't going to let these saints that tear up cars all the time know that car ain't for you just to drive around when you want. But I got an 07 Lexus that's nice and clean over there. You can drive that anytime you want. It's simple. Yeah. And, you know, you said out of fear. I want to know why they would have been afraid of me. I understand why people are afraid of Dow. I get it now with the testimonies that came out about him and the people that are there. People literally on that community for years praying that y'all would judge that community. Oh, I get it. Where are the Georgia Saints coming up saying I was afraid of Pastor Rufus? I couldn't talk to him. If I did and call him out, he would start making my life a living hell and want to push me out of the community. Where are those testimonies? I don't. That, to me, is garbage. It's garbage if anybody says that they didn't speak out in Georgia because they were fearful or something. That's just a bold-faced lie. There was no reason for them to be fearful, and they know it. They know it. Status means nothing, and they knew that. The reason they didn't say nothing because there was nothing to say. Nothing to say. The community walked in love. The community walked in harmony. All the other saints seen it. That's why they were gravitating down to that area. They know it. And then this last couple of years, we started booming because more people came, more skills came. Elder was giving a lot of money to help us to build, and we start building. We start growing really fast. And guess what? While we were growing, guess what we were doing? Going to Kentucky, helping them. Going to Bama, helping them. Going to Indiana, helping them. We were still going out helping the saints. Because Straightway was busy building Straightway. Remember, they had to build up. He said, we ain't going nowhere. We've been neglecting Straightway. We're going to be here. Cool. Y'all stay at Straightway. With the people living around there, Georgia will go out and help. The Southern Assemblies will go out and help. And that's what happened. That's what happened. Mike, I can see you in here just want to be a shit starter. You had one brother accuse me of intimidating people. Stop it. Just stop with the BS, bro. Just stop. There was one brother that said that in 2016, and me and him are still cool to this day. So, no. Those saints in Georgia knew anything that was on their mind. They could come to me and talk about it, and I wasn't going to blow up on them. I was going to hear them out, and I was going to be fair about it. Think about this. This has been a year and a half, right? My son-in-law drops this on me yesterday, and I'm like, I didn't know you felt this way, son-in-law. He's like, hey, this is reports I'm getting, blah, blah, blah. He starts smacking me with this stuff. I'm like, dang. I'm at work all night. Like, man, wow. That makes sense. This whole time, I ain't even thought about it from that perspective. Then I talked to Tim, and he in his feelings in motion, but he going in. And I got to work, and guess what I said? Man, when I look from his glasses, because Tim wore glasses too. When I look from his glasses, I can see why he feels that way. So no, I'm not listening to anyone or anybody that tries to act like Georgia was oppressed and y'all, now all of a sudden this is coming. That's just a lie. That's just a flat out lie. That's just a flat out 100% lie. That was never going on, and that was never happening. And I'm telling you, the door was open. We could talk about anything in Georgia. I didn't shut no conversation down. And if I was wrong, I was just flat out wrong, and I would change it. Just that simple. And them brothers knew it. Matter of fact, get me a brother, get me a sister from Georgia to say that. Then I'll entertain it. Get me a brother or a sister from Georgia to say, hey, the door was closed and I was really afraid of Pastor Rufus because he did this, he did. Get one of them to say that, and then I'll entertain it. But no, I ain't finna entertain the speculation. Okay, question. What collection did you have at Georgia, and do you see anything wrong being a collector? I knew you had a shoe and gun collection, or was the community's collection? I considered it the ministry, not just the community. Both of those were the ministries. Guess why? Anybody could come get anything out of it whenever they wanted. I didn't hold none of that stuff back. Ask Tim how many shoes his son got. How many shoes he got from my shoe collection? How many? Vernon. Yeah. Anything I had, them brothers know they could get. Now I wore 15, so not a lot of people were that size, but there was enough. There was plenty of brothers, I should say, actually, that came in when they would show up. They walk away with 5-6 pair of shoes. Most of them brand new, never even been worn. See, when you got a big size, if you know how to buy, you can get them super cheap. And I came with a shoe collection, y'all. I came with one. And everybody know about the Bang Bang collection. I wish somebody would, but if I'd have been in that meeting that they called the Georgia meeting and somebody would have brought that up, I would have said, anybody in here that I have not assisted or helped when it comes to getting one of those Bang Bangs, you stand up. You saw about 5 people stand up. But that's something I'm hoarding, or is that something that I use as a benefit for Israel? What I would ask is, name whatever it is I had that was cut off from the saints and they couldn't get it to. Name it. And you're going to hear crickets. You're going to hear people move the goalposts. Now, other leaders, Straightway Charles, he can't say that. No, it was not just community. It was the ministries. It was the ministries. All right. To council perspective. Boom, boom. Question. Okay, I saw that one. Do you see anything wrong with collecting things while in the walk? Checking myself. Got a few knives. No, I don't. If you can afford it, I don't have a problem with that. From my perspective, we all afraid to speak up for fear of backlash and the fear of judgment of the Most High against the ones I believed he had placed in power. Yes, he led me there with the warning. That's your opinion, Brother Manning. I don't agree with it, because not with everybody. Some people, yourself, you're admitting it. So that's how you walk. I don't think all the saints walk like that. And I can tell you now, none of those saints, none of those brothers, James, even Miliano when he was there, Vernon, Herb, Tim, Mike, none of those brothers, even the young teenage boys, none of them were afraid to me and come to me and talk to me. Because believe you me, I had a lot of hard talks, a lot of uncomfortable talks. But none of them were afraid to come to me. None of the women were afraid if they needed counseling to go to the Hilton Club. None of it. That was not an issue in Georgia. And honestly, even with all his lies and stuff, that's not something that you're hearing people say. So I think it's wrong for us to assume, well, because they were afraid of Dow, they were afraid of all the leaders. That's not true. Now, I can see the way, like a Kabir's ruling up there, you should be afraid. Because look what happened to Jordan when he didn't want to sign that contract. He did the same thing Dow did. I want the Saints to tell me, who did I pressure out of the community because I didn't like something they said? It never happened. The couple people that actually left the community left on their own free will. Sister Sophia, when I told her that she's being an undue burden because she wouldn't fight in deliverance for her children and the stuff that they had been through, she didn't like it. And she said, I'm being a burden. I said, hold on, sis. All of us are a burden one to another. But here it is. We're fighting for you and the children, and you're not even fighting. That's not fair. She didn't like it. Told me a couple of days later she's leaving. What am I supposed to do with that, y'all? What am I supposed to do with that? Still love that sis to this day. Junior got to acting erratic, crazy, doing all the stuff he was doing. I literally went to Junior and I said, brother, do you even want to be here anymore? He looked me in the face and said, no. I got him on New York. I got him a plane ticket to New York, and got him out of there the next day. He mocked Tim at the, Tim took him to the airport. He started mocking him because we were all trying to help him with deliverance. So when he gets to the airport, he started mocking Tim, saying, hey, you want to help me with deliverance now? What can you do with that, y'all? When someone wants to leave, you can't stop them. When Jamie wanted to leave, we couldn't stop him. That's the one that I've already admitted. I wish, because I wanted to help Jamie. That's the person I really wanted to help. And I didn't. To y'all be the glory, though. You live and you learn. Is what true? I said, is it true? All right. I was shocked to find out that brothers at the hub didn't have firearms because they couldn't afford them. Ask some of them brothers at the hub who got them the firearms they got because they couldn't afford them. And then ask them how much they had to pay for them. Ask them. There was nothing we had in Georgia, nothing that people want to say is mine, that any of the saints couldn't get. Any of them. From anywhere. I had nothing that I called my own. Why is it that no one from Georgia is following you if you did everything right? I haven't given them anything to follow. If you go, oh, that's right. Dow won't release the tapes. He released the tape he wanted to. Y'all get back on Dow and ask him to release the audio tapes of the Georgia conversations I had, those 3 tapes. You will clearly hear me tell them in every single one of them tapes, once this go down, you can't come to me. I will have nothing for you at that time. See, that's what they won't tell you. That's why he won't play those tapes. Because then you'll know, oh, he didn't even give him an option to leave with him. I wasn't starting a ministry. What I'm going to do with him, y'all? I got my own family to take care of. What was I supposed to do with him? You heard me and Elder Brent. Because remember, we were accused. You're leaving to go start your own ministry. Where's that ministry at? We in the fellowship. But I ain't going to start no ministry.
Go back up to No Doubt.
To No Doubt? Okay, let's see. How are the taxes on the brothers who had businesses if they gave all? They set their businesses up to where they weren't taking the taxes out. I let them control their businesses. And guess what? When they came to me and said, hey, I wanted to bring more money home and blah, 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 we got taxes to pay. All right, bro, set the payment plan up and we'll pay it. And guess what the community did? Paid the taxes every time they came up. That's what we did. I didn't dictate, mandate, force, none of that. And it's amazing. They still got businesses. They ain't get nothing, y'all, right? They left with nothing, but they got businesses. How many brothers can say they left a community with a business, or they got to keep their community, their business? Who can say it? But I'm trying to take from the brother? No, I wasn't. I missed another one, babe.
No,
Who's the next one?
the next one is Z-Man.
Said, that's my perspective living next to the hub. Oh, yeah, that's right. You were close to the hub. I don't have experience of seeing how the other communities run. Yeah, the fear of Dow and his minions was real like hound dogs. Where was the love? Yeah, I get a lot of people tell me that there was really no love at Straitway. It's a front. Like when people come for the feast and when they come for the weekends. But day to day there, it was no love. That's what a lot of people are saying. All right. Where is it at? There's no more questions? All right. If y'all don't have any more questions, we're going to end this live. Again, this was me addressing Straightway Georgia. This was me being transparent because there are people lying. There are people just flat out lying. And my thing is, prove it. Since you want to misguide and misdirect and mislead the people, ask for receipts, y'all. It's amazing how we show receipts. When I say Dow is illegal and he's unlawful, do I not come with receipts showing you with the I'll show you receipts. When I say he's unlawful, didn't we just do the video that Brother Daniel put together and I narrated the video? Or I reacted to the video showing you how he didn't follow the ecclesiastical process? He poo-pooed on it. That makes him unlawful, y'all. That's just one example. I got a billion actually on him on that. Illegal. That means by the laws of the land. Y'all already know all the other stuff that's going on. But I'm talking about with me, the fraudulent lien. He literally took a lien across state lines and said that he was in a mechanicals man, material man lien with me, an agreement with me, a contract with me for $23.4 million. But you naysayers will ignore that and you won't go ask Dow about those questions. But you'll come and ask me about all this stuff. Go ask Dow. Why did you file a $23.4 million lien? That is a lie, Dow. You never was any kind of contract. Everybody knows all the labor is free in Straightway. Nobody gets paid for labor. So why are you filing a lien against the property down there for $23.4 million? Where'd that number even come from? Then you put Elder Mitchell's signature on that and he didn't know about it. That's fraud. Wait till we get to the court and that comes out, y'all. Let's see what the judge do about that. Because my attorney, I'm telling y'all, when my attorney read it, guess what the first thing he told me to do? Go file a police report. Guess what I did? Filed a police report. Guess where it's at? On file, waiting for this to come up in court. Let's see if I'm telling the truth or not. Because it's illegal to do that, y'all. You can't put people's names on contracts and documents that they didn't agree to go on. Especially saying that a man owes you $23.4 million and the contract has come due. It's just really sad. It's really sad. Well, again, I guarantee you won't get Dow or Mir or Corey or any of them lying so-called leaders at Straightway. You will never get them on this and they will never answer your questions. You are beneath them. People are quote unquote following me because I don't give them anything to follow like that. I'm not starting another religion. I'm not starting another church. I ain't starting another organization. We can fellowship without all of that. Y'all, that's where the fellowship at. In this area I'm in now. In this area over here. That's where the people sit for the fellowship. And they don't have to come under the banner of some kind of religious organization. They don't have to come under the 501c3. They're free to come. They're free to leave. Zero obligation. Nobody's paying me tithes and offerings, y'all. Nobody. Why? I don't ask for them. I don't collect them. If someone feels led to give to me to do the work that I'm doing, then I receive it. Because a lot of people get a chance to see everything that's going on. A lot of you in this room know for a fact that when you call, no questions asked. If you guys are giving it to me and you got a need, it comes to you. It's simple. No, I don't agree with we the church. So no, I don't agree with that. Yeah, freely give. We freely receive, better freely give. I don't know Pastor Dow's network. All right, I think that's enough, y'all. I didn't want to be on long. That's me addressing Straightway Georgia for the first time. Probably the last time, too. I don't see me addressing them again. There's no need to. If any of them want to reach out and ask their own personal questions, they're free to. They can email me. They can get my number from Brother Tim or Brother Mike because I think they got my new number. They can get it from anybody. And I'll be more than happy to answer any of their questions. They may not like the answers, but they'll get it. They'll get a truthful answer. Sometimes the truth just hurts. When the state comes down on them, they will claim oppression. Yeah, I mean, again, they're going to flip the script. But at the end of the day, when you're unlawful and you're illegal, Yah's going to deal with you. And he's going to turn you over to your true enemies. That's what he's going to do. That's what the book say. That's what the book say. And I believe the book. I don't believe all these lies being told. So next time you hear a dog come out and say he embezzled money, he siphoned money, he did this, tell him to prove it. Tell him you got the documents. He already turned them over. Show us. Show us the proof that he embezzled anything, let alone $300,000. Any money. Show the proof. And what I'll do is show you more. If he does try, I'll show you more lying documents that him and Kabir, whoever, came up with. Just like they lied and came up with this $23.4 million that I owe them. I don't think some of y'all know how serious that is. To literally cross state lines and file a fraudulent document with the courts. Y'all gonna see? Y'all gonna see real quick how serious it is. All right, I don't see any more questions. We're going to end this. Look, saints, I appreciate y'all. Appreciate the support that we get. I appreciate the prayers more than anything. There are a lot of people hurting in Israel, and I feel it. I know they are. And I think one of the things that will help is just the transparency. If somebody just keeps the truth out there in front of it. Answer people's questions. Don't avoid it. Don't duck smoke. Now, people get up and say, I ain't no coward. I don't duck nothing. That's a damned lie. Because you ain't answering nobody's questions. You won't meet up. This could have easily been solved if we followed the book and put the two men that had a controversy in a room with the saints and the judges, and the Most High is going to show up. It'd have been simple if you just followed the book. But you're above the book because you're wrong. We're going to see how much you're not above the book, though. Glory to King. Bless y'all. Appreciate all of y'all. Y'all stay encouraged. And stay connected, man. Stay connected. When I say that, I mean like in fellowship. I'm hoping that most of y'all are in the feast or about to go into the feast here soon. It's supposed to be a time of celebration. It's supposed to be a wedding, y'all. This is your walk of salvation. It shouldn't be a depressing time. It shouldn't be a vexing time. It shouldn't be all that. So stir up the gift. Encourage yourself. Get in some kind of fellowship, even if it's like this, where you got to do it Skype-wise or whatever. Stay connected to somebody that loves the Most High. And if you got the real true desire, the Most High will bring you true fellowship where you can have people come or you can come. You'll get it. Be patient. I remember times when I had no one to fellowship with, y'all. No one. That ain't the case no more, and I thank the Father for it. All right, bless y'all. Y'all stay encouraged. Shalom, shalom.